The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Caldwell, Idaho, on your new Pierce Fire apparatus, job number 41333. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation. Starting first, just under the front bumper, you'll find 2 open-ended tow hooks. These are intended for operational use, 6,000 pounds direct pull. Moving under the face of the front bumper, you'll find dual air horns on the passenger and driver side, unit identifier E11, directly in the center, your electronic siren and PA speaker. Moving up onto the bumper extension, D-handle gains you access into the hose storage location in your front bumper. Moving over to the driver's side, you'll find your top-mounted mechanical siren. Onto the cab, you'll find on the outer edge a marker turn indicator light. Just inside that location, you'll find the headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. High beam is located on the inside. Directly above that, emergency warning lights forward facing. There are 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield, and as we move to the outer edge of the A-pillar, it's where you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. Moving up to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 identification clearance lights. Moving further up onto the roof, a forward-facing brow light. And then moving up to the very top of the roof line is where you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Let's go ahead and take a look at the side of the vehicle as a perspective from the driver's position. Full view, we'll focus in on the cab section next. First, starting with your front axle, where you'll find Goodyear tires, Alcoa wheel, and a visual sight gauge into the center of the axle. Moving to the front bumper extension, side-facing emergency warning light. As you move into the stepwell area, you'll find your air inlet. As you move all the way to the rear portion of the cab, this is the fill location for your DEF tank. Let's move now just up onto the cab body itself, where you'll find in the very front that marker turn indicator light, and then easily accessible with a gloved hand, these are your door locks and latch, and they are keyed. Moving just inside that location, you'll find grab handles for gaining access in and out of the cab. Just to the rear of that location, you'll find your shoreline inlet 20 amp auto eject. There are 2 emergency warning lights side facing located on your cab. As you move just up from this location, to the very top, you'll find a side facing scene light. And then to the very rear of the cab wall, it's where you'll find your water tank level indicators. Let's take a look at the mid section of the vehicle where your pump panel is located. We'll come back to this section in great detail. Moving on to the body section, just in front of the rear axle and to the rear of the rear axle is where you'll find your folding wheel chock storage. Just in front of the axle, you'll find a marker turn indicator light. There are 2 pan doors located on this side. Trigger latch will access you into these spaces, SCBA bottle storage, and also the fill location for your ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel. Emergency warning light, this is part of the lower emergency warning zone. And as we move up onto the top of the body, you'll find side-facing emergency warning lights, and then also 2 scene lights side-facing. Let's move around now to the rear of the apparatus, where you'll start in the lower corner with a brake, turn, and reverse light. You'll find 3 rear-facing emergency warning lights on the driver's side and 3 rear-facing emergency lights on the passenger side. Also a 2.5-inch discharge located on the driver's side rear. As you move to the very top, you'll find additional storage location here for long-handled tool storage. We'll go over that in a moment also. And then also 2 rear-facing scene lights. Let's go ahead and move now to the side of the vehicle. We'll cover those options next, starting first with the full view of the vehicle. The difference that we're going to identify on this side is your exhaust location just in front of the rear axle. And then we'll move into the cab section next. We'll cover the pump panel also in the next set of images. Let's take a look at the close-up of the front area first, starting with your front bumper extension. Once again, D handle gains you access into the covered space in the very center where you'll find a front discharge, which is foam capable. In this compartment, you'll find the discharge and then also dry deck material. Let's take a quick look at the side door where you'll find your logo, and then we'll go ahead and go into the driver's space next and identify a few items within this area. Let's start first with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information. Just above that, you'll find your combination door lock and latch. Directly above that, all 4 electric window controls and a grab handle. As we move to the step well area, this was the location of your air inlet in the very front corner. Got a close-up of that next. Then as we move into the actual space for the operator, you'll find this yellow placard, manufactured by Pierce for your department, indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, and cold tire inflation. Also the location of the VIN number and fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and also fluid type. At the floor level, you'll find your mechanical siren foot pedal, and about the left knee of the operator, just forward of that position, you'll find the master battery switch, quarter turn, and then you'll also find the tech module, ABS transmission diagnostic ports. This is for your maintenance team. As we move further down, some switches and indicators, first for ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics indicator, and also regen inhibit. As we move into the pump shift, you'll find instructions for its operation on the placard itself. Just as a reminder, for pump operations, you need 2 green indicators when exiting the cab, pump engaged and OK to pump. Let's move just to the right of this location where you'll find the flat mirror and convex mirror control. And as we move to the center column for your steering wheel, your vehicle is equipped with a airbag system, SRS. It's located within this area. And you'll also find controls on the steering for emergency warning lights, windshield wiper control, and siren control. Let's move to the front dash area, where I'll start first on the left-hand side with the start ignition switch. Just inside that location, you'll find a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage or disengage all emergency lights, headlight switch, and a panel switch, which allows you to brighten or dim lights within preview of the dash area. Onto the opposite side of the column, you'll find the OK to engage your high idle indicator and switch. As we move to the dash cluster, you'll find the transmission oil, def level, and water temp on the left-hand side. On the right, volts, fuel, front air, and rear air. Located directly in the center, you'll find the tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information will display above and below the tachometer and speedometer, in addition to a visual indicator in the very center. General view here just to the right of the operator space. Let's first start with your display screen. It is a touch screen and also function button below. Just to the right of that is where you'll find your windshield wiper control, push for fluid onto the windshield. As we move down, we've got some switches here. Let's start first with engine brake on and off, settings for that engine brake for low, medium, and high. Tire chains, which are a protected switch, and also mirror heat on the far right. As we move further down, you'll find the pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. This is the rear spring brakes. Allison transmission pad, digital readout, push button, informational note here to pump in drive, along with some caution information just to the right of that location. As we move further to the right, you'll find the radio push to talk button, also climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. Moving just to the right of this location, you'll find 12-volt access via barrel style and USB. You will find these placards throughout the vehicle. They are indicating spare wiring. It has the option number. In addition, it has the type of termination. Please do not remove these until your maintenance team has had an opportunity to review. Also, you'll find your push to talk for the officer side. And then looking overhead of the engineer's position, let's focus in the center area where you'll find if flashing, do not move your apparatus. You have a compartment door open or ajar. Let's move directly over the engineer's or driver position where you'll find the yellow placard in the upper left-hand corner. This is the information regarding your vehicle height, 10 feet 4 inches, length of the vehicle, 34 feet 0.75 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating of 46,500 pounds. In addition, you'll find the 5-digit job number located in this area also. Let's move just to the right. We'll find some switches. This is the emergency panel, so you'll find your emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. Moving just to the right of this location to the additional switch panel where you'll find your high beam flash for your headlights, an air horn, siren brake for your mechanical siren, and then to the far right your load manager. Moving further to the right, we have a front flood, driver's side scene, passenger side scene, and rear scene. Moving further to the right, the next module over is your electronic siren and PA speaker system. Let's take a quick look to the rear of the apparatus. We have 2 fold-down seats and an EMS compartment located directly in the center. Let's go ahead and move back to the exterior where the vehicle is clean certified idle. And then as we move now to the rest of the options here, you'll find your shoreline inlet. This is an auto eject. When plugged into shoreline power, the auto charge status center will display battery status. Also like to point out to the left is the SRS location of all of your airbags within your vehicle. Let's go ahead and move into the cab rear portion next, and we'll start with affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, combination door lock and latch, window control, and grab handle. As we look overhead, you'll find your David Clark headset system and also push on and off white or red lens lights. There are 2 rear-facing SCBA bracketed seats. As we look to the rear wall, you'll find fold-down seats forward-facing, one on the passenger and one on the driver's side. As we look directly behind the officer and driver head, this is where you'll find additional storage overhead LED lighting. At the rear, daily checks for oil and transmission. At the rear of the apparatus behind the seat is where you're going to find 12-volt access, and then also when plugged into shoreline power, the outlets will be active, engaging your battery charger for maintaining batteries. Let's move to the opposite side where you'll find a 12-volt bus bar and ground. And then a quick look into the EMS compartment, adjustable shelves. We also have outlets located in here. When once again plugged into shoreline power, those outlets are active. Also, you'll find 12-volt access via a bus bar located at the very top section. At the very rear wall is the David Clark main system. Also, we're back to the exterior now where you'll find the 4.5 US gallon DEF tank. This is the rear cab wall area down at the lower bottom. We'll start next in with the pump panel starting at the very top with your cross lay. This is a 2.5-inch cross lay. It is foam capable. We'll start in with the pump panel starting first with the left side, which is your foam level A. It is the red module. As we move to the right, you'll find your pump intake. This is the master gauge. And then moving further to the right, you'll find the pump discharge. This is the master gauge also. In between the 2 of those test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure, they're currently plugged and are utilized for testing purposes. Moving to the right, you'll find your water tank level indicator. As we move down, your vehicle is equipped with a foam system. It's the Husky 3 foam system. This is the operating module for it. There is also instructions on the placard itself and also specification and instructions on the placard next to it. Across the side here, you'll find panel lights, an OK to pump indicator light, additional lighting, and spare switch locations. Let's move downward on the pump panel. Starting on the left, we have clustered everything. First, we have a number 1 speed lay and the 2.5-inch cross lay, both of those foam capable. In the center, you'll find your deluge discharge. Moving further to the right is the air prime for your fire pump at least 1,000 RPMs for best practices. Moving further to the right, this is your pressure throttle governor, and then just underneath that, you'll find an audible speaker which does rotate, allowing you to brighten or dampen sound. As we move to the left, you'll find the number 2 speed lay and also the front discharge, all of those color-coded and labeled. Just as a warning, only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment. That's only after proper training.
To the right, you'll find the driver rear discharge, also foam capable, and then your minimum operation maintenance schedule, which will come back to this placard in just a few moments. As we move down to the lower left, you'll find the number 2 passenger side discharge and also number 1 discharge. Moving further to the right, you'll find the engine cooler. This rotates left to right. It does not pull. Moving further down, you'll find the large diameter discharge. This is on the passenger side, and it is a wheel valve. Moving further to the right, you'll find your tank fill recirculating line and also tank to pump. Let's move down to the lower left-hand corner where you'll find your number 2 speed lay. This is a release for that speed lay to allow the speed lay to be removed for hose stacking. As you move down, you'll find a warning regarding foam failure. Do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure, and also an entanglement hazard because those lines coming from a loft. We also have a warning placard here indicating pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. This is the number 1 driver side discharge, 2.5 inch, and then also a warning here when climbing on or off the vehicle, always face the vehicle. The American flag Pierce logo, this is your large diameter pump inlet. As we move down to the lower right, you'll find your 2.5 inch auxiliary inlet, locally controlled via ball valve and also female inlet. Once again, warning, foam failure. This is your foam system for draft and tank and fill. Moving further to the right, as we previously mentioned, this is the Watrous placard. We'll come back to that in just a few minutes. And then across the bottom, all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. As we move further to the right, you'll find the main fire pump drain. And then just underneath that, you'll find the manual pump shift. As we move further to the right, you'll find a pan door. As we look into the pan door area, you'll find your foam operation lever. There are instructions for its operation on the reversed side of the door. As we move to the undersection under the running board, foam pump discharge drain, foam pump intake drain. This is the Watrous placard indicating the capacity 1,500 GPM. This is your operational minimum maintenance test. This is for 150, 200, and 250 PSI. On the left, the associated GPM at that test pressure. On the right, the associated RPM. While in pump mode, you had a governed speed of 2,050 RPM. We'll go ahead and cover now into the compartments. First, identifying adjustable shelves, LED lighting. In the first compartment, you'll find a toolbox. Also, some pull-out boards located here for mounting of equipment. As we move to the over wheel compartment, a tool board, D-handle gains you access into that space, SCBA bottle storage with retaining straps. When the tool board is opened, it will lock into position. This is the lock mechanism. Forward of the axle, 3 SCBA bottle storage locations. Let's take a look at the rear axle where you'll find Goodyear tires, Alcoa wheel. Let's look to the rear of the axle where you'll find SCBA bottle storage for 2 bottles with retaining straps, and then also your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. It is the silver cap. Let's move to the rear where you'll find adjustable shelf and a pull-out tray. The tray on the lower side, the release mechanism is on the lower right-hand side. It will lock into position. Full view of the vehicle with all compartment doors open. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus and we'll go through a few items within this area. All compartments open. We'll start in the upper left-hand compartment at the top of the ladder area, where you'll find a 10-foot folding ladder and then also rigid drafting tubes. As we move to the right, you'll find additional drafting tube and also long-handled 6 and 8 foot pike poles. As we move down, rear scene lights and hose bed lights, unit identifier, E11. As we move to the ladder, just a couple of points. There is a few pinch points on this until you become familiar with it. Please recognize those warning labels. Also, warning regarding entanglement because of the hose coming from the hose bed area. There's the possibility of entanglement. We also have a 2.5 inch discharge located here, so we have a pressure hazard warning, and then also fall hazard. Never ride on the vehicle while the vehicle is in motion. As we move to the ladder storage, you'll find a 24-foot and 14-foot ladder storage, and then also warning here regarding never riding on the vehicle while it's in motion. As we move to the very bottom, you'll find a through compartment from passenger side to driver's side at the rear. There are two hose bed dividers that are movable and adjustable. As we move around to the passenger side of the vehicle, adjustable shelves at the very top section, you'll find a pull-out and tilt-downward shelf with 3 storage bins. At the very bottom section, you'll find a pull-out tray, release located on the lower right. Moving out to the over wheel compartment, where you'll find a tool board. D-handle gains you access into the space. Behind the tool board, you have additional storage on the rear wall. As we move to the SCBA bottle storage, there is 3 bottle storage location here with retaining straps. Let's take a look at the rear axle, where you'll find Goodyear tire and Alcoa wheel. Forward of this location, you'll find additional SCBA bottle storage for 3 bottles with retaining straps. Let's move now to the exhaust area. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen operation. Be very careful where you park your vehicle during this operation. As we move forward this location, you'll find a little giant ladder in the lower section, adjustable shelves, and a pull-out tool board. A few pictures of those items next. Little giant located in the lower section, Durasurf material on the very bottom. As we move now to the pump panel area, we'll start at the very top section, where you'll find that 2.5-inch cross lay, once again foam capable. Then we have the cross lays on the forward section of the pump panel. Also, cab lift operation control module is located here. There's instructions to raise and lower, and then also some caution and danger because of the movement of that cab. As we move in, you'll find a pan door located in the center, and also a warning regarding when climbing on or off the vehicle, always face the vehicle. 2.5-inch discharge located in the forward section. As we move further down, we have the large diameter discharge, and then also Pierce logo American flag eagle. This is your pump intake on the passenger side. A couple of warning placards here. Once again, pressure hazard, because those caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move to the very bottom, you'll find all of the color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's go back over to the cross lay area, where you'll find your speed lay, and then also number 2 speed lay, the release mechanism for removing that pan door. Additional storage location in the very bottom section. Unit identifier on the side of the door, E11. As we move to the rear cab area, we'll go inside this space next, starting first with the door panel, and affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, electric window control, and a grab handle. Overhead, you'll find your push on and off white or red lens lights, David Clark headset system, and then also your air conditioning unit. As we look to the rear portion, you'll find 2 rear-facing seats, which do house SCBA brackets, and then also 2 forward-facing fold-down seats. As we look in the overhead compartment, you'll find LED lighting. Let's go back to the exterior now, and we'll go inside the officer space. Starting first with the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock, and also electric window control and grab handle. As we move into the officer space in the forward section, the vehicle is equipped once again with airbags. This is the SRS bolstered airbag located in this space. Just as a quick reminder regarding mounting any of equipment in this space, please be cautious and advise when you're mounting equipment for that airbag. As we move to the right, you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. At the floor level, you'll find the mechanical siren, and then just under the seat, you'll find additional storage under the officer seat. As we look overhead into this space, you'll find once again push on and off white or red lens lights, a pull lanyard for your air horn, and also your David Clark headset system. We do have some switching located on this side. Located on the far right, you'll find the siren brake for the mechanical siren. And then just a quick reminder regarding those red and white labels. These are indicating spare wiring is behind this panel. And please do not remove until the maintenance team has had an opportunity to review. Full view, all compartments are now open. Let's go ahead and move up to the top of the truck and take a look at the items within this area. First, starting with a general view, we have 2 hatch compartments on each side, dunnage and hose bed area. At the rear hosebed area, once again, 2 movable hosebed dividers. As we look into the hatch compartments, you'll see LED lighting, dry deck material within each of those compartments. Let's move now into the dunnage area, where this is the location for the top fill for your water tank, and then also top fill location for your foam tank. Just a reminder on the foam tank, do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. As we move to the forward dunnage area, this is the location for your master stream device. It's also the location for the Husky foam system. This is a fill location. Also, you'll find your master stream device. We do have some warning placards indicated on the master stream device, and then also your extend-a-gun for raising the monitor up out of the dunnage area. As we move to the forward section of the cab, you'll find this is a non-walking surface, and we've identified that by additional warning placards. Let's go ahead and take a look at the chassis area. We have the cab fully tilted now, and we'll identify area within the engine and chassis area next. Starting first just under the front bumper area. Just as a reminder, those chrome tow hooks are 6,000 pounds direct pull and are not intended for towing the vehicle. They are for firefighter operational use. As we move to the cab tilt, just as a reminder, when the cab is fully tilted, please place the safety bar into position and do not lower the cab onto the safety bar. Maintain equal pressure on both right and left cylinders. Your vehicle is equipped with the TAC4 independent front suspension for increased braking ability and also ride comfort. These are the images located here. Let's go ahead and move to the engine area next. We'll identify forward is your radiator fill location. There is a visual sight gauge located in the very front section. Also, radiator recovery fluid located here. Power steering fluid. There is a sight gauge and also dipstick located in this space. Also oil check dipstick, and then also your transmission dipstick. We'll go ahead and move now just toward the rear of the truck. We'll remain on the driver's side frame rail area, starting first with the battery box. Just under the battery box is where you'll find your positive and negative jumper studs. And then also you can identify the fill location for your DEF tank, which is the blue tank located here. These are your tire chains controlled from within inside the cab and do have speed limitations. Moving toward the rear, this is your main power supply for the rear of the apparatus, and then also tow bar located at the rear of the apparatus. As we move to the passenger side frame rail, this is the location for your cab tilt hydraulic pump and also storage reservoir. There'll be no additional audio from this point on. Congratulations, Caldwell, Idaho, on your new Pierce fire apparatus. Here's a quick video to show your emergency and scene lights. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact the Hughes Fire sales team. Thank you and congratulations.